Did you push record?
Yeah, I just pushed record. So we're going to start the November 6th curriculum committee meeting for 2025 at 2:32 p.m. The first thing we're going to do is, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from October 2nd? And if you could say your name when you do that.
So Michael Flaherty, so moved.
Second? Is there a second?
Glenn Jablonski, second.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Glenn.
Glenn.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It just went a little bit too quick. Okay. So can I have a vote to approve the minutes from October 2nd, 2025? All in favor, please raise your hand.
Yep. You're good. You can learn.
Any opposed for the minutes? October 2nd, 2025. All right. Hi, Greg. Okay, thank you. We actually have a 9 items that are non-voting, but we still need to bring them on the agenda. So can I have a motion to approve items 25-69 through 25-77 on our agenda? We have another announcement regarding the 9 curriculum that are currently inactive. Just a motion to approve these for the agenda.
So moved.
And that was Michael?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, I forgot
And
it.
second?
Second, Rob.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rob. All right, so what we have is item 20. I'm going to go quickly, but you can follow me on the screen here. We have 5 HIA inactive curriculum. 25-69 is C201F Sustainable Landscape Practice Degree. Item 25-70 is C401A Landscape Design Certificate. Item 25-71, C401B Floral Design Certificate. Item 25-72, C401D Sustainable Landscape Practice Certificate. Item 25-73, C401F Sustainable Agroecology Certificate. Those are the 5 HIA. We have item 25-74, C406M Cake Decorating Certificate. 25-75, C406N Bread Baking Certificate. So it's 2 HIA. So we had 5 horticulture, I believe. I'm sorry if I said the horticulture wrong. It's 5 horticulture, 2 HIA. We have 1 CIS, item 25-76, C407T is Web and Data Science Application Certificate. And then finally, we have 1 in architecture, 25-77, U224A04 Architecture AA degree. You see these all on your screen right now. So we've got, let me double check, 5 HRT, 2 HIA, 1 architecture, and then 1 CIS with 5 concentrations. These were inactivated in the past. The department chair for each of these, as well as the dean for each of these areas, are requesting a study committee to be formed from the curriculum committee to bring these items back for deletion at the December meeting. So these are the items that we are talking about. We can open up communication on any one of those if need be, but I do want to tell you we need to form a study committee. And on this study committee, we do need certain representation from the college. The study committee, it will all be virtual work. The study committee is going to review the rationale from the dean and department chair. They have all agreed on the notion to bring these for withdrawal in December. We have checked with the research department to make sure no students are in the pipeline. If you did find one that was offered to the alternative, so there's no active students in the pipeline. I'm just going to open this up if anyone has comments or questions on the memos of intent to withdraw the programs. I just want to note Dean and Department Chair have agreed on all of these. So what we'll need to do as a curriculum committee right now is form our study committee. What will happen is once we form the study committee, I will email the study committee what they need to do. They have to review the rationale and then write back whether you agree or disagree with the recommendation to withdraw. Right now, I do have, and these are curriculum committee members for the most part. I do have, Tracy, are you here? Tracy Wright is our representative from the counseling department, so I have her name on there. Administrator from affected area will be Dean Jeanette Bartley and Dean Paul Jensen. Chairperson from the affected area, we have Sam, Christopher, David, and Francis. Representative from the business office is Jim Reynolds. I need 3 faculty to volunteer from the curriculum committee as well. This is all in our faculty contract, which is why it is spelled out in this manner. Do I have 3 individuals from the curriculum committee that are sitting members, voting members, that will volunteer to be on the study committee? I'll send you an email, you review it, you give me your response back. Okay, I do see, thank you. I do see Rob, Connor, I do see Allie, and I need 1 more. Glenn, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And Christina, if you just take note of that, I have it written down as well if we have any further questions, but it will be Rob, Allie, and Glenn.
Okay.
I will get that email out shortly, either tomorrow or no later than Monday, and you're going to review everything, and I kind of already made my my draft. All right, is there any other, we're not voting on this today, we're just bringing this as an informative piece so you know what's coming in December. Any other comments or questions on these inactive programs which are going to be brought forth to withdraw?
You know, I'd just like to assure everyone that our retention and completion specialist has reached out to anybody who looked like they might still be interested in this to make sure that there's a plan in place so everyone can wrap up. We did that earlier when they were first inactivated, but we went through it to give it one more pass. Thanks, Julianne.
Wonderful. And once a program is inactivated, and I don't have each year memorized, I could have put it on the slide, I apologize. Once the program is inactivated, no student should be able to enroll in that as an active student once it's inactivated. But the students who are already in it could complete if it's inactivated, right? And that's why we always give a time, a minimum, I believe, of a year where the program's inactivated, make sure these students can complete, okay? Because you can't have a student starting a program at a college and then the program's gone. We can't issue a degree. So no new students should have started from the date of inactivation, but students could complete. And I think that's really the main thing I wanted to make sure you were all aware of. All right, so we're going to move on. Those that have to leave early, go ahead. I believe you were all on the agenda for this informative purpose. Okay, we're going to move on to the active items that we're voting on. Can I have a motion to approve item 25-68, which is a revision of CJA 181, juvenile delinquency and law? Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael.
Second is Paul.
Thank you. Was it Paul?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Greg, could you please present this item for us?
Sure. Can you hear me? Because my camera's not working on this. Okay. It was, the class was revised because of changes in IAI requirements. We also changed the textbook, so we set it up to align more closely with the learning objectives and the 5 objectives that the college puts forward. They asked for some changes. They didn't want learning objectives to be tied directly to like chapters. So I kind of read through everything, modified it a little bit based on that. Does that make sense? They just didn't want to cut and paste. So I renamed the course and chapter learning objectives for each chapter that we covered in the book, so it didn't look quite as generic as they said the other one looked. So that was really the only changes I made. Plus, we updated the textbook. We went to all inclusive access for our whole department, and that one, I think when we do this like 2020 or 2021, we revised everything. We were using a different text. So now, since we're inclusive access for all of our books, I had to update that as well.
Okay. Any questions for Greg? All in favor of approving item 25-68, course revision of CJA 181, please raise your hand.
Only 9.
I'm sorry, say that again.
There's only 9.
Paul or
Somebody's not
Denise,
voting.
were you able to vote on this one?
Okay, 10.
And lower your hands. Is there any, I'm going to lower Paul's hand before I say it. Is there any opposed to the revision of CJA 181? Okay, thank you. That has passed. Can I have a motion to approve item 25-67? It is a course revision of ACC 200 Microsoft Excel for accounting and business.
So moved.
It was Michael.
Yes, sorry.
Second. Dr. Griffin.
Okay, Dr. Griffin, thank you. Would you like to present on this item then?
Sure. It's just simple course learning objectives from 10 to 4, making it a little bit more succinct in those course learning objectives and removing the general education outcomes.
Okay. That sounds very good. Do we have any comments or questions on the revision of ACC 200? All in favor, please raise your hand.
Yep.
Okay, lower your hands. And is there any opposed to the course revision of ACC 200? That item has passed. Can I have a motion to approve item 25-78, a revised curriculum of C436A, sport management?
So moved. Michael.
Michael, thank you.
Second, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. This is my area. I have added, this particular curriculum is 9 credit hours to earn the certificate. I've added 1 additional course to the list of courses that you could potentially take to get the certificate. So it's an addition of HTH 221, which is sport and rehab. Sports specific training and rehab. Any questions? And it was spurred by student requests. All in favor of the revision of curriculum C436A, sport management, please raise your hand. A couple more voters, I think we need.
Yeah, we need 1 more.
Yeah.
Yep, we're good.
Hands? That was a we're good, right, Christina?
Yeah, we're yeah.
Okay. Any opposed to the curriculum revision of C436A, sport management? That item has passed. Those are the only items we have to vote on for this meeting. Here's your dates and deadlines. I guess the dates and deadlines has already passed for the December meeting. If there's anything pressing, please let us know, Christina, Susie, or I. The next meeting will be December 4th. That will be the last fall meeting. And then you can always continually work on curriculum if need be. Deans, please tell that to your faculty. It's not like you can stop working. It'll just go to the next available meeting. January 12th is the deadline. A lot of people want to ask about that particular one to make the first meeting for February. Those will be posted as well in Blackboard, and I'll keep announcing them at the meetings. The spring ones are posted, I should say, in Blackboard as well as on the curriculum site in the portal. All right, the last time we met, we were talking about narrowing down some standardized language to put on programs if department chair and faculty from the department would like this on the program. So there's no mandate to say you have to have a note on your program, but if you wanted to have a note on your program, that entails some of the information we have presented for you. We wanted to standardize the language so it would be clear to the student what is being placed on that. So our suggestions are, this is based on a number of people's recommendations from the curriculum committee, that if a note was to be put on a program, you could select either, number one, this map is suggested and can be customized, please contact your academic advisor, or number two, courses must be taken in the exact order listed each semester. So you could put one of those if needed, or do not select either. That's okay too. All right. And then if there's a specific need, you could put 3, gen ed courses should be taken early to support success in programs. Or number 4, this program may transfer to some 4-year colleges and universities. So these are options for faculty to use on their curriculum maps. Try to standardize it and make it clear cut, make it as descriptive as possible with as few words as possible. Does anyone have comments whether this is of value, or if there was any revisions from these notes that somebody could recommend? And what we're ultimately going for is when we get our new software program, we could list these in the map options where you check, you know, I would from our end of the programming, you could check one of these boxes and that would be added to your program map. Troy.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to see number 3. Throughout our information sessions, we always stress to the potential students that they would be more successful in knocking out as many general education courses as possible. So thank you for that.
Great. And if you see repeating problems, definitely we can add that to it. I mean, I think almost all curriculum would probably say that if it was an associate degree. You know, may not be necessary for certificates though. And I know that Antigone couldn't be with us, but she was a big proponent of number 4. This program may transfer to some 4-year colleges and universities that may be applicable to AAS degrees. Any other comments on these? Ellie?
Yeah, I was just going to add, with our program, some of our courses only run in certain semesters. So perhaps we could maybe add, because I know other programs may encounter this as well. Maybe we could add a statement about that.
I'm writing notes, please.
Okay.
So something to the effect of this particular course will only run in spring, or this particular course.
Exactly.
Will only run in fall.
Yep.
Okay, maybe we can make a little check mark like that, and with some indication of a special symbol that would indicate which course that was.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me work on that, and we could come back with an update in December. Michael?
I just really want to confirm there would be no point in number 4 for an AA or AS degree, correct?
Yeah, I mean, those are optional. You don't have to, but
Yeah.
I would imagine most students know that, unless somebody comes back to me and says, you know, my students don't realize that. I haven't heard a lot of students questioning AAAS, but definitely AAS.
I guess my assumption is AAS, they're planning to do that. They're not thinking that an AA or AS is going to be enough, but I just wanted to check if it's something I need to do or not. Probably not.
Well, I don't think at this point we're going to tell faculty they must check one of these, even 1 or 2. unless
no,
you
that was,
absolutely
that,
wanna
that was clear. I was wondering if I should, and I'm thinking I probably shouldn't bother.
You could definitely ask the department, your faculty members of the department, what they're doing. We could certainly collaborate and talk here. You know, I wasn't going to, and then I'm rereading it, and I'm like, do my students need to know that? Like, I wouldn't do it on mine right now. But
Okay.
if something changes, it's always available.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Ali?
Hi. So I just wanted to introduce myself. So my name is Ali. I'm the coordinator of degree audit. And looking at this particular sheet, the other items noted on programs, I had missed the last curriculum meeting. But from a degree audit standpoint, I am the person that takes these approved programs and certifications and puts them into college so students sees them on self-service. Issues that we are currently having is how these programs fit into college. And having some sort of recommended sheet, like such as this, where the items are suggested can be customized, courses may be taken in exact order, gen ed courses, for all the different programs and certifications, that's fantastic. As far as I would like it to be more involved in the infancy stage of these programs that are created, these certifications and programs. So now we can start moving on to building curriculum tracks and course blocks for these students. And I know that's something that the school is looking forward to, and that's something that we can do. And we have 291 like active programs that need to be audited to make sure that they are correct. And in doing that, I'd like to be a part of like the infancy stage of understanding how these programs are created. So when time comes and they're approved, not trying to wait to figure out how to fit these programs into the system of colleague, because colleague has certain limitations. That being said, there are certain things like the HSE program that I'm putting into the system that I already have questions and concerns with, and something just having that conversation with the departments and faculty and staff and making myself available, because it would be better to be available and to implement these solutions right away than waiting towards the end, because at the end of the day, as far as putting these programs into college, it's becoming very difficult, and so I'd like to be part of that process and have a sheet that asks for like the core courses, the gen eds, the program electives, and then I know that there's some sort of extracurricular as far as optionals and partnerships that we have with universities, but we kind of would like to develop that cheat sheet for you guys, to give you guys that, so we can sort of develop that program together and then implement it into college. So that's pretty much just what I have to say. It's nice to meet everybody as well.
Thank you. And are you stating something to the effect like you have a sheet that you would like the department chairs to answer questions about which are core versus which are electives or something to that effect? Because they are in the catalog listed that way, but that might be something Susie can help you with as well.
So I'm thinking of a program specifically where we had issues if it was considered a core or an elective, and sort of understanding how that works, because we have partnerships with different universities that in the SMART catalog, it would accept it for that university as an elective, and it's put that way, but for us, it's a core course. And so I've talked to Linda and Jean about developing some sort of template so that we can give to these departments to say here and say, okay, these are the classes that are recommended, these are the classes that are required as far as cores, electives, and I'm thinking cores, electives, and gen eds. When we're looking at the SMART catalog, some of the classes or courses that are put in don't actually fit into colleague like the SMART catalog wants it to, and so that's where we're having a difficult time when we put these programs or certifications into Colleague in the back end. And then that's why like we're just having a very difficult time. Sorry, I'm just running a little late for my meeting with Tasha from Records. But it's something like I understand that with Smart Catalog, but still Smart Catalog doesn't always fit into how Colleague accepts these programs. So we always trying to figure out some wiggle room.
Yeah, to make it better. Well, just to throw another twist in there, you know, we are moving to new software, I believe, for both curriculum and the catalog. Assessment will not be on that new system, but we will be moving towards a new system soon. So I hope that doesn't complicate matters even more. But maybe it'll make it easier in the future. But what I could say, this is just my recommendation based on what I'm hearing. I would say our first option might be to sit down with a meeting with Christina, Susie, and I to see what needs there are currently. And if the three of us can't figure that out, then we could request input from the department chair of the area of the curriculum that is in question. Christina, did you want to comment? I thought I knew
I think, well, because I have some background with colleagues, so I think I kind of understand what Ollie's saying. It's if they're in multiple, colleague wants them to be in one program or one certificate, and if the student's taking different courses that are outside that particular certificate. So I wish Dr. Griffin was here because I think that he's trying, like when I was attending his department meeting, he was having kind of this conversation where students were in different degrees and different certificates. And so I think that that's the problem with colleague is it wants to box the student into one certificate or one degree program. It doesn't want them to be in multiple, and it finds it really hard. So I think that might be, is that what you're trying to say, Ollie, that it's trying to, it wants them to be in one certificate?
Or I do notice, and that's first something, Christina, when you were talking, that's first something that I know we had an issue with in the past where a course may be core in one curriculum, but elective in another. And I think colleague might have a hard time with that too.
Yeah, colleague definitely has a hard time with that.
Now, that in and of itself, I don't think we're going to be able to change. That would be a mess because in some programs, it might be required. In other programs, it might be an elective, but it's the same course. So we can't change curriculum to fit that. We may have to figure out a way to do it without changing the integrity.
And I
of
think
the
what we did at the previous school that I worked at, we had them do like a program change or like you have to change your certificate. You'd have to like actually manually say like, I'm going into this other certificate. So colleague would recognize, because what happens is that then the student doesn't graduate. They have a bunch of courses, but they don't really have a degree or certificate at the end because they have a bunch of courses, but it doesn't really lead to anything at the end.
I'm just putting a couple notes down. Does anyone else have any comments on that? And I know, well, the curriculum isn't going to change. The software platform will, but colleague will not. So we've got to figure out what are the best solutions for this. Go ahead, Ali.
Yeah, no, so like what I was trying to say, for example, not just with the stackable certificates, adding that into it, but for example, if I had looked at like the health, sports, and exercise science program for this academic year, there are like our core courses, then there are like gen ed courses, of course, and there are the program electives. Now, when we put that into the system, we're telling students that specifically that these classes that are on the Smart Catalog are required to graduate. But yet, when we go back to this, like the associate in science and associates in science degree, there are a plethora of other classes. So then my question is, are these just classes that are, or courses that are just or that are recommended? So like when you say you have like Math 170, that is a math gen ed, but however, the Associates in Science degree has plenty of other math gen eds to take. But here it's sitting here saying that this is a required gen ed course.
Right.
And so we're trying to understand, is it just Math 170, or do students have other options, or is this the recommended, or is this required?
Okay, so the question is it recommended or required? If the person is, and I can answer this, again, I think it might be departmentally individual. I can answer this because it's my department. That class should be taken, so I require it because the schools that they're transferring into require that. And that's why that was chosen as the math class. They're not going to transfer in as a junior, I could say, or they're going to have to repeat that at another school if they don't take that here. If they're just taking 101, Math 101, it's not going to help them when they transfer. So what we did was we reached out to the primary institutions that they're transferring to, and we asked them not a formal articulation partnership, but what class do you need? And I'm going to implement that in my degree so that they're ready and they're suited to go in as a transfer junior. So that's why that is. It does me of no value to tell a student to take 101 if they really need statistics. And again, I think it's kind of departmentally decided upon with our advisory committee as well. But that's the answer to that particular question. The same thing goes for our science selections as well. I can't have somebody take an astrology when in fact they need the BIS or the physics in exercise science.
And that definitely makes sense. And then when I partner with Tasha from the Director of Records, then it seems to be like they look at that and they say, hey, if the student didn't take Math 170 because there are much more gen ed math classes, then that student cannot graduate from that particular program. Is that correct?
Right.
So, but yeah, correct. So then Records doesn't know this because they assume that there are more math gen eds to take. And so like, I think that I feel like we need to have some sort of understanding of this is a requirement for that cheat sheet that I was talking about, because we're looking at the Associates in Science degree requirements, then we're looking at this program, and we're sitting here saying which one is correct, and are we reading this correctly, and then are we graduating the students correctly?
Yeah, I think what the faculty has brought forth would be the correct answer. If there's gen eds and they specify one specific gen ed, then I would say that's the one that the student needs to take. If it was an option, they would probably just say in the curriculum, take any life science or take any, what's the other science? I'm drawing a blank here. Even if it was behavioral science or social science, they would say take any of them, right? Because in my curriculum, I did say take any humanity or fine art. I don't think I specified the specific one. But if a faculty is specifying a specific one, that's the one that should be taken. Now, how you program that in colleague, I don't know the answer to that. But we can't, I understand the question. I can't have faculty being so generic that it hinders the student progress once they're juniors. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, I actually kind of like generic, Julianne, but it depends on the program.
Right,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Because like for me, I do recommend psychology because I think it's really good for English majors to have it, but I don't require it. I'm just using it as an example. We don't get many English majors anyway. But what I don't particularly like is when departments, probably more than programs. I think with programs this is less true. When departments put very specific humanities and then they're totally fine with the student taking something else instead, and that's why I think that's where I think it's appropriate to say take any fine arts, unless there's a reason it has to be this art history class, and sometimes there is, then or this particular philosophy class or humanities. I think for that, it's as long as it's a transferable course that meets the requirement. I really encourage people to let the student choose, unless you have a specific not just sort of a general, I think it'd be a good idea reason, but a specific reason. Like if you were asked, would you say no? I think that's kind of what I say. if you would say, oh, okay, then don't even make the requirement.
Right. And if I recall, I agree, Michael, with everything you've said. If I recall years ago when we were making these programs, and we did have a little help from a committee that was doing that, they questioned the faculty. At least they questioned me and say, why are you picking this one and not that one? And I have to have credible evidence to say, yes, I am specifying specific math and science, but I'm not specifying specific humanity and fine art, because that's what the transferring universities have in their curriculum, and that's what they expect their students to have if we want to transfer them in, so they're not taking additional courses there. Denise, did you want to comment on that? Go ahead, Denise. I don't know. You all can hear me, right?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just, a lot has been said, and I just think that as programs and curriculum is being made, that they still have to be very mindful of the degree that it falls under. And when I say the degree, if it's the AA or AS, those specific that are transfer degrees, like, yes, you can have a recommended course or a strongly recommended course in regards to a program, just because of understanding that the student will need this as they transfer to another one. But some courses, I don't know how specific you can say that it has to be just this math, or we cannot award the degree. That would be my only concern, of if it really is a Gen Ed II course that meets for example, I'm gonna just say like a math. And if a student comes in and they transfer in another II math course, we will accept that as meeting that math, one of the math requirements, depending on the degree. We do have strongly recommended courses or core courses, absolutely. But I just think it needs to be mindful of when we're saying, unless it's very, very specific to that program, we can't then award.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. And that would be a second option, as opposed to mandating it be that particular course, which in my case I did, because I can't, send somebody off to another school knowing that they're going to be behind. But if they're coming to us with credit, I mean, the other option would be list all of them and say, this is strongly recommended in bold print with a star next to it. That's your secondary option if you don't want to mandate one particular course.
Julia,
I think in this case, the department really needs to take a hard look at it, and advisory committee as well, which should, the advisory committee should have some representation from universities. If you don't have an advisory committee, I would strongly recommend you looking through the university requirements as well. Mike, I did say, Michael, did you want to say something real quick, and then we'll go back to Ali?
Yeah, real quick. I just, with my position, I work with a lot of different, all AAAS, but I work with a lot of different majors. And, there's a lot of majors, for example, that absolutely calculus, they've got to have it. And it's just the way it is. And that's if they don't like it, they're probably in the wrong field. But then, for some, it doesn't really matter which. And it's that way a lot with the science and the humanities and fine arts. Some degrees, certainly, but, for quite a few of them, as long as they have something credible that transfers, that should be good enough.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Flaherty. It is some where, no, you have to have calc. So, that's different.
Yeah. I mean, we just don't want them to be behind. I can understand, and I'm reflecting on my situation, I can understand graduating somebody with Math 101 and Math 102, and then my problem with that is I'm thinking, okay, then they're going to get there, and now we got to redo the math again, right? Now we got to redo the stats, and we got to redo finite math, because the transferring universities are not going to graduate them with a bachelor's unless they have those two. That's where my conflict happens in my mind. I think we really need to scrutinize it, not, like Michael said, not just randomly pick one because we like it, but what's best for the students in that particular major has to be either strongly recommended or required. Go ahead, Ali.
and to your point exactly. So as far as like that HSE program, that Math 170, like in the system, I'm putting it as is required, but these are other options to take as well. But Math 170 is required. But when we look at records when they're graduating students, there's a disconnect from us to records to sit here and say, hey, this student cannot graduate because they only have this course and not this math course. Like there's a much more options. So how do we bridge that? So I work with records as well to bridge that communication to help students.
Sorry for interrupting. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of what we had done in the past. So what we have done in the years that I've been working here is if there was an exception, you know, we could write the general petition and say, I will accept this as the reason being they're 101 instead of 170. But I'm still going to guide 95% of my students to take the 170. If left up to their own, they may not. They may say, okay, I'm going to take this particular one, or I think this one's better for me. But if I know I'm going to make most of them fall behind if they don't take the 170, then I have to strongly recommend that or require it. I could potentially write, you know, a general petition saying, all right, I'll waive the 170, 101, but the student knowing now you're going to have to take 170 at the next school. So that's how we've handled it in the past, if need be. I think there would be less, committee, tell me if I'm wrong, I think there would be less of that problematic for a student than saying just take anything. I think there would be more problems with that one. All right. Any other comments on this? We could certainly debate this further, and I think it is on an individual department to department decision. But if the records would like to specifically ask the department chair, you know, I would reach out to them, and then we could just revisit that decision to have one particular course rather than optional within that gen ed. Any other comments on this? Okay, we could bring this back again for discussion in December after people have had a little bit of time to deliberate this. And Ali, we would be happy to meet with you in curriculum office to see how we could better clarify the decisions that are already present in the catalog. Does anyone, I believe that's really it for today. Does anyone have any other comments or questions on curriculum? What I plan on doing then for other items in December is we will bring this notes on programs back to have it ready to go in spring, should people want to start clicking on that for their program. We will add Allie's suggestion on this course will only run spring or this course will only run fall. I'll see how to do that behind the scenes in catalog with Susie. And then we'll discuss more about the degree audit as well. If anyone has any other items to put on the agenda for December, let me know, but those are the two I could think of right now. All right, if no one has any other further items, I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting at 3:15, November 6, 2025.
So moved.
Thank you, Michael.
Second, Paul.
All right, thank you, Paul. All right, everyone have a great evening. Thank you for participating today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.